Sloth is the last of the 7 deadly sins, and let's be honest, most of us don't think of this one as particularly deadly. If only some of the world's evil dictators or inventors or leaders of criminal enterprises were more slothful. Wouldn't the world be a better place?
Well, actually, no. It wouldn't be. Why not? Because sloth, contrary to popular belief, is not a synonym for laziness. Sloth isn't about lying around on the couch, binging on Netflix or playing video games. Sloth is not about productivity at all. In fact, did you know that you could be someone who works 60 hours a week, comes home and keeps the house in good shape every day and still struggle with sloth?
That's right, because sloth isn't about productivity, it's about love. Sloth is an inner resistance to the demands of love. In her book, Glittering Vices, theologian Rebecca DeYoung puts it this way: the person with sloth resists the effort of doing day after day after day whatever it takes to keep the bonds of love strong and living and healthy, whether she feels particularly inspired about it or not. What does that mean? Well, we all know that relationships take work and intentionality, right? If you want to have a great relationship with your spouse or your close friend, you have to talk. You have to spend time together. There will be times when you need to do things for each other, even little things like cleaning up around the house, tedious things that don't sound fun or exciting. But when you show up for each other in those big and small ways, day after day after day, over time, it develops a trust and a bond that is deep and lasting and rich.
Love takes work, and sloth rejects that work. In particular, in our relationship with God. Sloth, as a deadly sin, is about the effort it takes to grow and sustain a beautiful and fulfilling relationship with God. That's why we said earlier that you could be lazy and slothful or busy and slothful. You could be a couch potato or a busybody. You have no job or 2 or 3 jobs, because a slothful person resists the effort of doing the daily things that keeps the bond of love with God strong.
Now, sometimes we resist through apathy, and sometimes we resist by avoiding. There are different strategies we use to neglect our life with God, aren't there? But whether we distract ourselves with leisure or distract ourselves with work, either way, we're keeping ourselves from putting in the effort our relationship with God needs to grow and be healthy.
Now, don't get us wrong. You don't earn a relationship with God, because Jesus, God freely offers himself to us as Father and friend. We couldn't earn it if we tried, but the quality of that relationship is in part dependent on us, just like any relationship. And the character trait, the fruit of the Spirit that we need to cultivate in order to counter the effect of sloth in our lives is faithfulness.
If faithfulness is about consistently attending to our relationship with God and the duties that are a part of it, regardless of how we're feeling at the moment. A faithful person can be relied upon. And while many of us would like to choose whether we do something based on how we feel in the moment, don't we know that our feelings are not always reliable guides of what we should and shouldn't do right now? If we want to cultivate faithfulness, we'll need to be a people who listen to our feelings, but who don't let them rule our decision making.
One of the ways we can cultivate faithfulness in our lives is intentionally committing to a rhythm of practices that can keep bonds of love strong between us and God. These are the practices that we won't be too busy for, too distracted from, or too tired to do. We simply do them faithfully, day in and day out. Why? Because slowly, over time, they will help us to receive more deeply the love and guidance and relationship that God is offering.
That's right, and in our next video, Betsy is going to share a practice with us, actually 2 practices with us that will help us do just that.